What's going on, people, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do an SSL Fusion shootout. We're going to compare the SSL Fusion analog piece of gear to the plugins. Now, if you don't know what the SSL Fusion is, it's what I would describe as a analog color box. When I bought it maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I wanted to get my first piece of analog gear, and I wanted it to be something versatile, something you can use on drums, vocals, your mix bus, and something that there wasn't a plug-in version of. A few years later, SSL bring out the plug-in version of the SSL Fusion. But is it better? Now, if you haven't seen one before, this is my SSL Fusion. Let me just change the camera. So you've got a few sections here from left to right. We've got obviously the input, high pass filter. We've got a vintage drive. We've got the violet EQ, which until they brought out the plugin wasn't available anywhere else other than the SSL Fusion. That's what got me really upset. High frequency compressor, stereo imager, and the output. We've also got a button there to turn on a transformer, an insert, pre-EQ, and of course bypass. And we've got side up there as well. There you go. So yeah, that's the SSL Fusion. And then they brought out the plugins, and I'll just go through the plugins real quick. There's the vintage drive. As you can see, you've got a mix knob on there, which you don't have on the SSL Fusion. There's the violet EQ. You've got this fat button, which isn't on the hardware, of course. High frequency compressor. Again, we've got a mix knob. Stereo imager. Got this shuffle control here, and also an option to solo the side so you can hear what you're doing. And the transformer as well, which I'm not actually using on this mix, but I can show you the transformer real quick so you can see what that looks like. Transformer. Is that going to take hours? No, it's not. So on the unit, on the SSL Fusion, it's just a button. It's just this button here to activate the transformer. There isn't a shine, there isn't an amount, and there isn't a mix knob. So you do get a little bit more, I guess, bang for your buck with the plugins. But the most important thing is how does it sound? So I'm going to run this track. As you can see, I've kind of split it into two versions. One with this top one is from the hardware, and this bottom one is from the plugins. I'm just going to run it through. I will put a little graphic up to kind of, just in case you're not sure which one you're listening to. I'm not going to try and do a blind test or anything. I just want you to hear it switch back and forward between the analog and the plugin, and so you can hear and make up your mind which you prefer. So let's do that now. I'm going to hide my bolt, and yeah, here are the tracks. Okay, so there you have the comparison. I tried to get it volume match. That's why I've got these VUMTs for one, but I also wanted to do the exact same controls, so I have everything set exactly the same. Now to my ear, I can hear a difference, but I can't say that that difference sounds better or worse. The main thing that I found is the stereo imager on the plugin sounded a little bit more extreme, and I did have to pull it back to what I've got it compared to what I've got it set on the analog gear. But other than that, it's pretty close, I must say. Let me know what you think though. Do you think the analog sounds better, or do you think the plugins sound better? Now obviously there are pros and cons to owning hardware and owning the plugins. I like having this here. I like having something that I know everyone else doesn't have, especially kind of on my scene, the scene that I work on. I like just being able to reach over, getting hands on and everything like that. It just makes the whole process a little bit more fun. Recall is a bitch. Now I've only got one piece of analog gear, so I can imagine guys that have like 20, 30 units. Recall must be a pain in the ass. Whereas with plugins, you know, your DAW, it saves all your settings. Also, with the plugins, you do have, you know, like I showed you, these extra little bells and whistles. On the high frequency compressor, you've got a listen button for one, and you've got just a little visualizer so you can see exactly what's going on. The same with the stereo image. So, you know, there are pros and cons to owning both. I still would say you can't beat that analog sound, but I would need convincing on to say it is way better, like enough to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. Now, when you're talking about analog gear that doesn't have a plug-in version, cool. And again, like I said, it's a lot more hands-on experience when you are using analog gear. But I think the jury is out these days on whether the analog versions sound just way, way better. They sound different, but it's kind of up to us. I do think it is a thing where it's like, cool, how are most people listening to music these days? There is probably a small percentage of music fans that are connoisseurs and may be able to tell the difference, but I think it's so subtle. It literally is taste. If you're a mix engineer or producer, I've heard MSM say it, you know, sometimes he will do two mixes. He'll do one completely out of the box, and then he'll do the same mix with the plug-in versions of his hardware, and he'll flip back and forward to see which one he prefers. Sometimes the plugins sound better. But let me know what you think by leaving a comment below. Let me know what you think, which one you prefer. Did you prefer the analog version, or did you prefer the plug-in version? Also, let me know if you're going to be picking up any, like, either the SSL Fusion or the plugins after seeing this video. I'd love to know that. And if you haven't already, subscribe, man. And leave a like, of course, because it helps with, you know, the algorithm voodoo and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm going to be out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.